electronic music podcast.
All right. Wow. Well, here we are. VEM
All
podcast number 3. That was, we had a little bit of technical difficulties there. I left my camera charger battery at home. So
we made it.
We made it. Yeah, it was a little bit of a scramble. We got it set up. So this is VM podcast number 3 with Grayson Goerss. He is a hip-hop and electronic music producer out of the Bay Area. And we are here at Halcyon, San Francisco, one of San Francisco's best electronic music nightlife event.
Venues.
Venues, thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're here. Everyone was super gracious for letting us be able to host it here.
Definitely.
So yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, super excited to be here, man.
Yeah.
This is my first podcast.
First podcast ever.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah.
Usually I'm on the other side. I do sound engineering that's my other gig. So
yeah,
it's funny being on this side of the camera. Definitely, it's interesting.
Yeah, and so you work in studios and tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I started producing music in like 4th grade.
Yeah.
I guess you could call it music. It was pretty trash back then. That was like Fruity Loops demo mode. Like you couldn't save your projects.
Oh my God.
So you just like hit the little drum things and it would kind of like. Have you ever used Fruity Loops?
So I actually started with Fruity Loops. Well, I downloaded it.
Yeah.
I got it working on my computer, and then it was just too much for somebody that had just starting. I was like 20 or 21 at the time, and opening it and seeing that crazy like the
interface.
Drum roll thing that they have, and it was it was too much. So I actually kind of put that on the back burner, and I got a ASR10. Sonic ASR10, the same one that like Kanye uses. Or used.
And that was easier for you.
It was easier because it had a singular, simple workflow. Right? It's like it's a keyboard unit, and it's just samples go
pretty
in.
Straightforward.
Lay it out on the keys, boom. And then you're making music, and you're dealing with sequences and the whole computer thing. I was still kind of fresh to computer programs. DAWs.
Yeah. So I started with Fruity Loops. That was easy for me because I would just click one of the things and sound would come out.
Right.
Because it was that and Reason. And Reason was like, it would show you the back of the gear and you'd have to patch everything in.
Yep.
And I was literally in 4th grade and I had no idea what that shit was.
Holy shit. So you got started like way...
Super early, yeah.
Super early,
My older brother's friend, Swirls was his name, he used to make beats and they were dope.
Yeah.
On Fruity Loops, and so he kind of like showed me the just rudimentary steps.
Crazy.
And I just took that, and I was just a little kid clicking shit.
Yeah.
And I ended up making some pretty funny beats, and I moved from there, and we got a Mac, one of those like old school Macs with the handles on top.
Yep.
We got one of those, and I used GarageBand for a while, and then just naturally Logic came afterwards.
Yep.
That's like the older brother, like more...
Right.
Sophisticated.
I feel like that's why they give you GarageBand with your computer.
Oh, yeah.
Or your smartphone.
They're like, you're going to end up getting Logic.
You're going to like this.
Yeah.
It's the gateway.
Exactly. It's the gateway.
Yeah.
Gateway DAW. Yeah. So GarageBand took me to Logic, and then I've kind of been dabbling with Ableton a little bit.
Yeah.
I record into Pro Tools, all tracking and mixing in the studio. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like MIDI production, I've found Pro Tools to not be. It's not my favorite DAW for that.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
So are you doing that because I know most studios, they just have Pro Tools, which is a huge, it's like my biggest pet peeve. I hate that they just have Pro Tools.
It's like they just chose one studio standard.
Yes.
And just everyone has to do that now.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck what you like.
Yeah, exactly. You're using this.
Yeah. That was always I feel like if you're a studio, you should have, and everyone, because studios nowadays are there's barely any of them have survived, right? And
right, they're closing a lot, all over the place. Fantasy just closed.
Yeah, oh really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
In Berkeley.
Wow, that was a big one.
Journey. Recorded there. A lot of big bands were recording there. Yeah, that was a sad one.
That is sad, yeah. But ever since the computer, the GarageBand thing, the last 10 years,
it's kind of changed up the game.
The studio has evolved into bedroom producers everywhere, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like you should have the DAWs that people are using currently, and bring them in there, and it just integrates it better.
Yeah. Well, also Pro Tools, you have to have your I/O. It's just like
Right.
logistically, it's more difficult
Yes.
than Logic
Yeah.
or Ableton. And I don't know all of the odds and ends. Maybe it's necessary for that, but it seems like there's always like a lot of different routing and just connectivity issues that come with Pro Tools.
Right.
Sorry, Pro Tools. I I know all the hotkeys. I still love using Pro Tools, but man, everyone's got their like language of DAW that they use.
Yeah, and I do like that there's, obviously like choices, but yeah, Pro Tools just kind of, I used it for a long time in conjunction with Reason, and it's just, I realized after a while it's just very sterile. It's not super creative.
Yeah, right, exactly. You have to kind of like go within its guidelines.
Yes.
What I like something I think about is that Pro Tools, the hotkeys that you use is like that's what you use, right? That's the only option.
Yeah.
Logic, you can like put in, you can have your hotkeys be the Pro Tools ones.
Oh,
if
really?
you want. Yeah, you can like download that. Just because it's like whatever, we just like we're here. You use the program how you want to.
Yeah.
Be creative as you want to.
I
if
like
you use
that.
Pro Tools and you know these hotkeys, go ahead and use them with us. Like we don't care.
Yeah.
But as long as you're using Logic, I think they're happy.
Right.
And that was super helpful for me for a little bit because you learn hotkeys on one DAW and then try to on another, and you get them confused. And
They could just make them universal.
sometimes you press a button and you don't know what you did, but something
You're right,
changed,
yeah.
and you don't know what button you pressed.
Yeah.
Everything looks different.
Right. It's the
So-
worst when you do that and then something comes out super dope.
Yeah.
You like
How do I do that
accidentally-
again?
Yeah, you accidentally add some like quantized setting. You're like, fuck, I gotta figure
It's
that
got
out.
like
Yeah.
some really cool swing to
Right,
it or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Good shit. So you got some you got an album.
We got
that's,
an album
about to be
coming,
out,
but
right?
I didn't finish with where I'm at right now. So
Okay,
I
yeah.
was making the beats.
Oh, that's right.
Got to
Yeah, sorry.
Logic, got to Pro Tools. I went to this school called Expression, which you went to also.
I did.
I believe.
Yep.
Different. You were there a little bit before me, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that school. We did some like video, audio editing, live sound stuff, studio, and I got in there mainly because I was mixing my own stuff, like my own beats.
Yeah.
Like as you progress, I'm sure everyone knows this. At first, you're just making the music, and then you're mixing it to get a certain sound.
Yep.
You're not just choosing any snare. You've got a certain snare in mind with a certain amount of delay or reverb or distortion or
Frequency
whatever.
range and that
Frequency
sort of thing,
range, EQ. So you learn how to mix your own stuff, and then you hear other people's music.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of musician friends, like in Oregon when I was living up there, and they would have a good track and a really good idea, but it wouldn't. They're like, I don't know how to make it sound the way I want to make it sound.
Yeah.
Like I've got the musical idea,
Yep.
but I can't make it sound like. How do I make it sound like, Nirvana or
Right.
whoever their like band that they were trying to emulate was. And so it's like I just kind of learned mixing when I was up there, and I was taking some classes at U of O, which were just recording techniques and stuff. So I did that, and then Expression was like, well, I could take it to the next level, and I kind of just made that decision.
That's kind of why I did it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you really do take it to the next level there.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the recording schools kind of get a lot of flack. Oh, you don't need this, and they
Right.
didn't exist for the longest time.
Yeah.
The whole industry is really less than 100 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
We
We didn't have
electronics.
Yeah, we weren't recording shit until
Right. Yeah.
like actually I don't know.
I actually used to scratch MIDI
1800s?
notes into trees.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
nice,
I'd pocket
dude.
knife my MIDI notes.
Yeah,
in.
and put your ear on the trunk and see
you
what
run
you
a stick across it.
get some different bark patterns that
yeah.
you could get going. Yeah, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's the original music right
OG
there. The
shit, yeah.
original recording.
Yeah, but they do kind of get some flack. But I mean, for me, it
worth
took
it.
it to the next level. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, it was worth it for me. And then I started interning at a studio and then recording. And the more you do it, the more you learn.
Right.
So
Do you feel like, because I feel like for myself, going to school more than the knowledge that they taught you, the things that you learned, the books that you read, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like I got some clout exiting that school. Having graduated. Like I felt like not like earned clout per se, but like as far as like, oh, I've been around these things, these
Right.
giant mixing desks and
Yeah.
MIDI instrument racks and effects racks, and
Yeah.
it wasn't so like scary.
yeah, it was clout like recognition wise, but also just personal, like, confidence-wise.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I know what these knobs do. I know, like, I know what these faders do, these potentiometers. Like, I can actually... It's not going to be like a foreign language when I get up here.
Yeah.
Because, fake it till you make it, kind of.
Yeah.
So if you get up there, you actually can kind of fake it
I know what
until
those
you
do.
make it. Yeah, exactly. But you've got, like, the very basic knowledge. Some people more than others if you use all your lap time and stuff. You know?
Right.
But enough so that you got that confidence when you get up there and you're DJing or in the studio or live sound.
Yes.
Where you felt comfortable enough to actually do the fake it part so that you could make it.
Yeah, right. Bumble your way through and then,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it works out as long as there's not someone breathing down your neck, then
And
it's all
sometimes
good.
there is.
Sometimes there is. Yeah. You're like, look over there.
Yeah.
And you look at
What's
your
that?
phone real quick. I think everyone's been there.
Yeah. It's necessary for growth.
It is.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a couple years since then, and just making your own music, making my own music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to come out with my first album. I've been making beats for a long time with, like, I think I am too picky with the people I choose to be the artists, like to actually sing or rap.
Yeah.
And my friend Jeremy, aka Soul Doc, and I met through mutual friends. Actually, we've known each other for like, I don't know now, probably like 12 years, but it was kind of on and off.
Yeah.
And then we became homies a couple years back, and he was rapping, he's a lyricist, and I made beats, and our styles kind of aligned.
Yep.
Same with our like groups of friends and everything. So everything just kind of aligned.
Nice.
And so we recorded one track. It wasn't even supposed to be like an album at first. We recorded one track, and then we were feeling it. We did a couple more, and it kind of just expanded itself to become a full album.
That's good shit. And what's it called?
Well, it was going to be self-titled Soul Doc.
Sick. Yeah.
But I think we're switching it to Breathe. Right, we're on the cusp of making that decision right now.
Nice. Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be Breathe.
Okay.
And I go by. I used to go by Grayniac. That was my first name. That was like my high school producer name. I think everyone's got like their stage of names that they've gone through.
Yeah.
So Grayniac was my back in the day
Layers of skin,
name.
if you will.
Yeah, I
as
kind
you
of shed
grow.
that one off. Definitely.
Is it as exciting as when a lizard gets out of his skin? You know what I mean? It's like
I imagine so, definitely, yeah. And I don't know where to find that skin anymore.
Right,
It's somewhere. I abandoned that thing in the
hang it
desert.
in your closet.
Yeah.
In case you feel like putting Grayniac back on.
Exactly, yeah. Hopefully I don't take those steps backwards, but yeah, Grayniac was a name that I got through friends of mine. It was like Grayniac on the track.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out. And then now it's Grayson Goerss. It's just my full first name and last name.
You know what? It's solid.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with your real name.
Yeah.
So,
And you're not gonna-
Scott Brio,
Right.
yeah, or friends with benefits.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I'll probably create some more aliases. I'm sure.
Yeah.
At some
yeah.
point, there's more layers of skin to be shedded.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And for myself, like I tend to add them as I add like genres. Like if I'm making, obviously I used to just do everything under Scott Brio, but it was very confusing and ADD because one album would have like dubstep and electro and all this, so
Yeah.
just, segment them.
It is
'em in
like
their
a
own-
different alias,
Oh, yeah.
kind of though.
Yeah.
Like I'm the same way as that,
Yep.
where it's like I make kind of sampled hip hop, which is like Jay Dilla style or like Kanye, like late registration
Right.
style.
Chopped samples.
Chop samples, kind
dirty
of like
drums.
the keyboard that you're talking about.
ASR10.
ASR10.
Yeah.
That style, like, I'll always do that because I was brought up listening to hip hop
Yep.
and that style of music. So that just like happens without thinking about it.
Yeah.
But as with any artist in general, you start somewhere and you always you don't stay stagnant. So
Yeah.
you change. And I've definitely like become more of like electronic hip hop world music.
Yeah.
Like I can't really put it into one genre.
It's definitely world beat.
World beat, yeah, because it's still got
yeah.
that beat. It's not like
Yeah.
techno. It's not
No.
like that fast. It's not like four on the floor.
Yeah.
It's still got the hip hop beat, but like kind of different snare sounds, different kick sounds
Right.
in a way.
Did you do that consciously, or was it just like?
It wasn't
Over time.
conscious. No,
Yeah.
it was like I would just my ear changed. I guess I would hear like I wanted like a really cool Asian flute. in
Yeah.
a song or something.
Right.
Or like I wanted you to feel like you're on the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
But it was like epic.
Herding goats. It's
Herding,
just like, yeah.
herding goats to a beat though. Those goats were stepping on
Yeah.
stepping on beat. Yeah. So I don't know. It just happened. It happened naturally. It wasn't a conscious thing.
Yeah.
And it'll probably continue to happen naturally. But
Yeah.
that's just what I am like proud of playing for other people.
Right.
You know, and it's like I feel like that is more me at this point in time.
Yeah. And I feel
Yeah.
like you too. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I started with hip hop beats, and I love them. You know what I mean? I love
Right.
hip hop beats.
Yeah.
But you can own it a little bit more when you're not just sampling other people's records. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's more you. It's more
Yeah.
of you can come out rather than just like, oh, these are the, because like I personally feel like, excuse me, hip hop beat makers are in part like DJs. Because you're doing a lot of heavy sampling, and so
Super heavy.
you're choosing the tracks and the artists you want to sample from that
Yeah.
in turn become your beats. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah, that just that sampling style is dope, and like I'm not hating on that at all. But
Yeah.
it does kind of plateau at a certain point.
Yeah.
For me at least, like I don't. Even though some of my favorite beats that I've made are like oldies that I've flipped,
Yep.
like there is something magical about flipping a dope
Oh my
oldie,
God.
or it doesn't, or like Afrobeat or jazz or something.
Sure, yeah,
like that is really cool.
Yeah.
But once you've done, at least to your own standards, a couple of like really good tracks like that, and I'm not a fan of Kanye currently, but just like in terms of him,
Yeah.
I remember thinking I wish that he had stayed with doing all like the sample style,
yeah.
which I'm forgetting the name of before late registration. College Dropout.
College Dropout, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, dude, you killed it. You should have just kept doing that.
Right.
But like from another artist's perspective, you can't just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Like you have to progress some
Well,
direction.
and once you get bigger too, you
Yeah.
run into all kinds of copyright issues and
Right.
stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like
Well,
then
he
you-
can pay. He can
He
afford
could,
to.
well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's that
They're
weird.
focused on
There's
him.
that weird, point, that threshold where
Yeah.
you're a nobody, you're a backpack rapper, beat maker,
Right.
and sampling is
SoundCloud,
whatever.
yeah.
It's completely under the radar.
Yeah.
But then once you start getting popular, it's like you've built your whole everything off of that, and
Right.
so now it's like, oh well, now Jay-Z wants to get on my track. Now I have to no samples.
What's your sound?
Yeah, right.
Do you even know your sound?
Do you know your sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not trying to hate on the flipping, but it does just you have to go some direction.
Right.
You can't just stay
And
there.
to be fair, if your beats are hot enough,
It'll
don't,
be
don't-
fine.
They don't give a fuck. They're like, yeah, we'll pay whatever. Like,
Yeah.
this is the next
Right,
radio chart topper.
Well, sometimes, like in Kanye's sense, I think he makes some pretty garbage music nowadays.
yeah,
I think some of it's great. Garbage isn't the right word, but
Yeah.
it doesn't
it doesn't resonate with
doesn't
you.
resonate with me.
Yeah, yeah.
But no matter what, he's got his name behind it. He built his name up, and people are going to be like, "Well, this is the new Kanye. Like, it's still pretty dope."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like his. I like pretty much everything he's done. I just think from a producer standpoint,
Yeah.
he's
A
the
genius.
goat.
For sure.
But in his new stuff, I can completely understand why people might not like it as much.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he gets weird. I like the fact
Yeah,
that
getting weird
he's
is always
pushing
good.
the envelope because
Weird
I
is
like
good.
weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird is good.
Weird is good.
For sure.
Yeah,
But it's not
yeah.
as cool as if you're trying to get weird.
Yes.
Like if you're
right.
getting weird because that's just where it's going.
Right.
That's really cool. But if
Yeah.
you're like, I'm gonna get weird, like
We're
that's
about to
not
get
quite
weird.
as natural, you know?
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much whatever direction you go, if you're trying too hard or whatever, it's gonna
Right.
sound forced.
It's
yeah.
gonna sound forced.
Right.
Yeah. People have like a sixth sense for that.
Right.
Even
Like-
people
like-
with no music background, they
You
can
can
like
hear it.
sense that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Jay Dilla, Donuts.
Yeah.
Shit was super weird.
Yeah.
But it resonated with everybody. You know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
he was just getting weird, like with a whole bunch of records probably behind his like turntables and
Right.
sampling some weird shit, doing some crazy drums.
Yep,
Like
yep.
he was being creative with his process.
for the sake of being creative.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for the sake of being weird.
You're right. Yeah. Hashtag weird.
Yeah.
Good shit. So yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about the process of how you make music, and specifically like this album, like what kind of went into it?
Yeah. This definitely has some like old school samples.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of my college dropout
Nice.
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I made some of the beats. Like the beats span for like 5 years probably, and they had just been kind of living in my vault, my beat vault, And Soldoc and I had just kind of like listened to a bunch of beats and saw what aligned. And we just have that same kind of rootsy hip hop style,
Nice.
like early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah, totally.
In terms of gear, I'm all in Logic.
Yep.
Trying to get into Ableton, but it's like speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, like I can still speak the language, but very slowly.
Right, yeah.
And I probably would get laughed at a little bit when,
Yeah.
when people hear me trying, you know?
Right, yeah.
But it's endearing. But yeah, it's been all Logic. Native Instruments is like I live and die by Native Instruments. Machine,
100%.
all of my drums are on Machine. Massive is like my main synth and app synth, but that's all on Native Instruments.
Nice.
I've been wanting to expand, but I'm getting to the point where expansion is necessary.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
before that, it was fine. I was happy with my little toolkit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had those, and then it was all of Waves, the Waves bundle, Fab Filter, and then I used the RC48 reverb a lot.
Nice. Yeah.
And that's Native Instruments.
Yep.
I really want to get Sound Toys. I use that at the studio that I used
Love
to work
Sound
at all the
Toys.
time. Sound Toys is the shit.
Yep.
Distortion, Decapitator is my favorite distortion.
Yep.
There's
Echo
other...
Boy.
Echo Boy.
Echo Boy.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
use that one. Excuse me. Oh, and Filter Freak.
Yeah,
I actually
Filter
use
Freak.
Filter Freak even more. When I have a
Yeah.
trick. Sorry to interject, but I have a trick that I use.
Now tell us your trick,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
I want to hear.
Yeah, you'll like this one.
All
So
right.
for hi-hats, right?
Okay.
Let's just go with a running 8th note or 16th note hi-hat, right?
Yeah.
To give it movement, especially if you're doing mixing for somebody or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
Of course, you do it on your own tracks, but
Right.
slap a Filter Freak on there.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you click rhythm. There's a little button that says rhythm.
Okay.
And you can set it to like half note, whole note, whatever.
Quarter
so I
note.
usually set it to half note.
Yeah.
And then you just you pull the frequency down a little bit.
Okay.
And what it does is every half note it's
Look wide.
it's sweeping the EQ, like the top off of it.
Okay.
So what it does is it rather than just like it does this
Yeah. Oh, okay.
and it is a really nice kind of organic
Yeah.
breathing. It creates I'm all about like movement in music
For sure.
you know, because
Yeah.
every track every sound kind of has to stand on its own, otherwise it just sounds loopy, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's mine.
No. That's I see. I've done that without a plugin, but it'd be so much easier to do that with a plugin.
You could automate it, you know.
Yeah,
for sure.
I always choose like different hi hats, and I'll have the one that's on like the two, like
Yes. Yep.
It's like that.
Yeah.
That one's like the loudest, and the
accent,
other
yeah.
ones are kind of in the background. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And that's just like, and I guess what it is I'm with the pads, I'm emulating a real drummer because that's how
Yeah.
they play it.
Yeah.
So the little Filter Freak is kind of emulating that
Right. Yeah.
that
yeah.
natural sound, and everyone's got an ear for that.
Yeah.
Like it just sounds more natural.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
So and you mixed and did you master the album?
I didn't master it. I've heard from a lot of people. One, I'm not like an experienced master.
Yeah.
I've looked up YouTube videos and I know how to do it. The very basic way, but that's like a whole nother animal.
Yeah,
Mastering.
yeah.
Mixing, I can get the sound. I'll do the delays, the reverbs, the
Yeah.
panning, the atmosphere,
Right.
like the soundscape.
Yeah.
But mastering is a little bit more technical, and I also heard that if you mixed and recorded the album, you should get somebody like new ears on it
Yeah.
to kind of put their, they don't have any bias.
You're right, yeah.
Towards the song. So
Yeah.
we had a guy that actually used to be a professor. I don't think he was a professor at Expression, but he used to teach my teachers
Oh,
at
interesting.
Expression. Like some of the teachers, I went in there, I was like, oh, I went to Expression. He's like, oh, I don't remember the names. And he's like, oh, so-and-so. Like he used to be one of my students.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, damn, dude, you're like a grandfather of a teacher, which was pretty sick. So I really
Crazy.
respected him. He knew all of he had like 2-inch tape, 1/4-inch tape, a whole bunch of outboard gear. So it was all outboard gear.
Yeah.
I do a lot of, most of my stuff is in the box, which I'm not proud of,
No, there's nothing.
but just like financially, I
Nothing
don't really
wrong with
have, and space-wise, I don't really have like the real estate to have a whole bunch of outboard gear.
I would argue that it's almost more impressive if you can get a good
Sound.
You know, if you can
Yeah.
get a sound like.
In the
So
box.
if you can get a sound like Jay
You
Dilla
need that
in the
Fiji
box,
water, bro.
I know.
What are those Fiji waters?
Yeah, we should have grabbed them. It was too much of a rush.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all good. It's all good.
I'll give you some to take home.
Thanks, man.
Good shit. Yeah. So I think if you can get that sound in the box,
Yeah.
it's more impressive. It's like it's really having a bunch of preamps and outboard effects and synths and stuff. They have their own inherent sound, and they so do plugins, but
Right.
you're just starting in a much more sterile environment.
Definitely.
In a DAW.
Yeah.
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 They're all emulating you're not getting that like actual hitting like the capacitor.
Right.
And you're not getting the
line
actual
noise and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that is a physical thing, which
Yes.
I find cool. Like the hardware, the sound is physically going through these different transistors and capacitors and
Yep.
and making it and coming out with a different sound.
100%.
So
yeah.
that part I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So someday if I can get to that point, get myself a nice preamp, compressor,
Yep.
distressor, something
Right.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be a happy day.
Yeah.
Happy day for sure. But right now, yeah, everything's in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to kind of cure the gear lust. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you got the gear list.
Yeah, I do.
You
I
got
do
the gear
suffer.
turnover. That's good. That the guy that I was mastering with has the same thing.
Mm.
And you'll take a lot of stuff in, and like you kind of spit out what it might have sounded cool, but like not worth keeping.
Yeah. Right.
And then
Yeah.
if you do it for a couple of years, you probably end up with a pretty solid little like gear list.
Yeah. Right. And
that
you
you
end
can-
up knowing a lot of.
and you know
different
it really
things.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some things, like I had a Roland. What's the S60 or something like that? It's like one of the samplers that does really gritty. It's kind of like on the same lines as like the MPC 60,
Okay.
Emax. That
It had its own like drum sounds.
real gritty.
Like
low
after
files.
the 808.
No, it was a sampler. So you
Okay.
could feed whatever into it.
Oh, got it, okay.
But it did really kind of lo-fi sampling and added this really kind of nice kind of SP1200 like ringy effect to it.
Okay.
I wanted to love it so much, and I couldn't. It was so difficult, like working with this. And I'm coming from a place of telling you that I stopped using Fruity Loops and picked up an ASR 10.
Yeah.
You
You really want to use that hardware.
I wanted to use it, but
Yeah.
it was so archaic and like shitty, like the OS and using I was like, this
the
sucks,
truth is coming out.
This sucks, yeah.
It's a little ringy. Actually, it was shitty.
No, it
was
sounded
just,
great. It sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
That was the toughest part.
It was just the ring.
No. It was the usability of it was so
like
difficult.
the interface.
The interface was terrible.
It wasn't so user friendly.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
You like the ring.
I love the sound of it.
Make the heads ring.
Yes.
Ding,
yeah.
ding,
Ding,
dong.
ding. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great. That's too bad, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Well,
There's other gear out there.
There is.
Just calling your name.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a big ocean.
Yeah,
Full of fish and
exactly.
sea.
Yeah. Well, I just use like my basic machine controller, which is amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I use that in Logic because the machine. I'm sure the machine DAW is nice,
Yeah.
but I use that within Logic. But I just like doing it. I like doing everything under the umbrella of Logic if
Yeah,
I can.
absolutely.
I don't like because arrangement is huge for me, and I know that this is like not the way to do it as a producer nowadays. When you're looking at everything, you should
Yeah.
just be hearing it. But I really like the organization, like seeing everything there.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like I do also, I listened to your last episode where you turned the screensaver off.
Yeah.
So you just listen.
Yep.
Like I definitely do that. I just close my eyes.
Yeah.
I gotta
The natural screensaver.
the natural screensaver. And I definitely make myself use my ears, but it's nice just having everything under the Logic umbrella so I could
Yep.
see
Yep.
all of the pieces being put together.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, I use the machine hardware, and then I have this little M Audio like 25 key keyboard, the most basic. But as I get a little bit better, I actually don't play any instruments,
Yep.
which is I guess more common now. But as I get better, I'm starting to want more keys because I'm starting to use two hands more, and you're kind of like this with 25. Like
Yeah.
you can play a melody, poke at it.
But then you got to like bank down.
And then you got to
get
bank
the
down.
bass.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I do that. I'll like play this part and bank down, and then play the low part and
Sick,
bank up
yeah.
real quick. Usually you got to do some editing afterwards.
Yeah,
It's
right,
not
yeah.
so smooth.
Yeah.
But now I want to get a bigger keyboard.
61 key
if
or
I could.
88 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
I just won a competition, and I say I, but I should say we. I didn't tell this guy that I entered it, but I'm all about Splice. I've been using Splice.com for probably like 2 years now.
Yep.
And that's just like a sample hub, pretty much.
Nice.
And they have a bunch of competitions. And some of them are like Firestarter, which is like they'll have a whole playlist that they curated of keys or guitar or drums or whatever. And then you choose one of those samples, and that's supposed to be like your fire starter, like your beat starter, pretty much.
Nice.
And I had made this beat actually before that competition came out, and I used a little piece of drum. It actually wasn't my starter. I had made the beat, and I was like, ooh, this would be, it's like a little tambourine or something.
Yeah.
But anyways, I put that track in, and we won it, which I was super excited about.
Crazy. Just with a tambourine?
No, well, yeah, that was all I needed to be in the competition.
Wow,
it was
crazy.
just a really dope tambourine. Man.
Yeah, the dopest tambourine you've ever
Put it through
heard,
that distortion, you know. The
Sick.
track is dope, man. And I made the track, I sampled it, and then this guy, you guys will see him shortly.
Yeah.
Soldoc,
You can come on up and just say
come
what's
show
up.
your
Yeah.
face.
Introduce yourself. We're referencing you enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have another seat.
This
there
is
you go.
Soldoc. So we won that competition, and I got a little free keyboard.
Nice.
I can't remember what kind it is yet. It hasn't come in yet, but that's going to change my game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The sound is going to change.
They're sending you a MIDI keyboard as
Yeah,
a prize.
that was the prize.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
So that's how I got there, because
Yeah.
I'm adding to my my gear list.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So slowly building.
Good
Yeah,
shit. Good
exactly.
shit.
Our album, I believe, is going to be called Breathe. We're working on it. It's coming out. It should be coming out this year. We got 2 music videos that we already filmed, and we should have a 3rd one on the way.
Nice.
And those will be dropping soon.
Nice.
And I'll definitely let you know. And I'm putting it out on all of my social media outlets, which is not enough. I'm learning.
Yep. Need all of them.
Pretty much just Instagram and Facebook, but we'll get it on the other stuff, and that should be dropping this year.
Sick.
Yeah, so
Sick.
super excited about that.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Soldoc's done a couple albums solo, and this is our first teaming up.
Teaming up duo.
Yeah,
Like Attack, Quilly.
yeah, Tyler Quilly, Reflection Eternal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good shit.
or like Macklemore, Ryan Lewis. Yeah, for sure.
The team.
The team.
The team. I
Yeah,
like it.
exactly.
Good shit.
Yeah,
Cool.
so excited about that.
Yeah.
For sure.
What monitors are you using again?
I use NS10s.
NS10s. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I
new
don't-
ones.
The new ones.
Yeah.
I just moved into a new room, so I'm still finding like the right sound of the room.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a room, so it's kind of like this setup where it's like headphones.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're so close, you're not really getting the room sound.
Yeah.
And I'm
near field monitor. That's
yeah,
kinda what they're
super.
for, but
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like really near.
Yeah.
It's like you guys being my monitors. It's like right here. Yeah, they're pointed right at my ears. It sounds dope. Yeah, for sure. So I've got my spot, and whenever I'm showing somebody, I'm like, no, you come sit here.
Right,
Like
yeah,
I'll move. You sit right here. You got to get the full experience. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, do the delay. And I'm you just like anybody. You learn if there's like the highs are really high or something. So
Yeah.
I get used to that
Yeah,
sound
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I love the NS10s, man. No subwoofer, and they slap.
Yeah.
For
Sounds
sure.
good.
Yeah.
I've always liked those.
The NS10s?
Yeah. I kind of
Yeah.
went to Guitar Center and did you can press the buttons and switch the monitors and listen to stuff. And
I'm sorry. I'm saying NS10s. It's not right. The NS10s are dope for. That's not what I have.
you have the new version of the
I have
NS10s.
the Yamaha H10s.
Yeah.
That's
I know
you
what you're
knew what
talking
I had,
about.
so
Yes.
you were you were letting it fly.
Yeah.
The NS10s are dope. Yeah, those are great near field monitors in the studio.
Yes.
I would never want that at the house.
They don't come with a subwoofer.
They do not come with a
original
subwoofer.
ones,
Yeah, exactly. But they don't slap. Also,
They do not
They're
slap.
super flat.
They don't sound
the
great either.
H10s sound great.
Yeah.
And I love those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NH10s are good for the studio. Don't get them as home monitors. Oh man. Yeah, NS10s.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got what you meant. I like those a lot, and I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of the white cone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Another pet peeve of mine is
The yellow ones.
the yellow ones.
Yeah.
I hate those things.
Those are the
Rocket.
the Rockets. Yeah.
KRK.
And those
yeah.
are famous for being too bassy.
Yes.
So then
too
people
basic.
will have their mix be like not that bassy because they've been listening to it.
Yeah, right.
If there's so much bass.
Yeah.
They turn it down and then
Yeah.
you put it on something else.
Right.
No bass, no slap.
I will say though
Yeah.
that it's kind of an unfair hatred because I think they probably sound okay. I don't like yellow.
You just don't like the yellow?
I don't like the yellow.
Too much yellow,
Yeah, too
man.
much yellow. I actually made a Reddit post because my buddy had a pair of the really small ones.
Yeah.
And he was using another pair of them or whatever,
Right.
different monitors, and he had this little cone like this or whatever,
Right.
And they were stained. They had like brown or reddish brown
Ugh.
like stains on them. And I was like, you care if I like Sharpie those? I've always like wanted to just Sharpie the yellow off these things. Yeah, he's like, no, go.
They're already looking kind of brown
Yeah,
and shit,
yeah.
man. Like, I'm doing you a favor, really.
Exactly. He's like, go ahead. I Sharpied them.
Black?
And they looked way better.
Yeah?
Yeah, and people
That's
on
great.
Reddit just lost their shit. They're just like, what? You're changing the dynamics of the monitor, and that ink has
really?
weight, and like they're never going to sound the same. I'm like,
Oh, my
you all are
God.
tripping.
Unfollow me.
First of all, these probably cost less than $100.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Unfollow, yeah.
Yeah, unfollow me, please. It's just the aesthetic, man.
It's
You
just
get in the
the
studio.
aesthetic,
Everyone
yeah.
loves the lighting, you know.
Yeah.
The monitors.
I even
can't
went,
be yellow.
I met them in their stupidity, and I weighed the
Oh,
ink. I weighed the ink. I took a little piece of paper. I took a Post-it, and I colored the whole. I took
Did
colored
you weigh
the
the
whole
Post-it first? You weigh the Post-it first?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you,
You know how
colored
it's
the whole
done. You gotta
thing?
wait. You gotta tear the scale. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've weighed some things.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I teared it for the Post-it, Sharpied the whole thing in.
Yeah.
Weighed it again, even wet.
What were the results?
It just teetered. Just it just went
Like
up. Just a tad.
0.001.
Yeah, and then I let it dry out and just nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, that's ink.
Haters.
It's ink.
Just hating the hate, man. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad that you did that. Actually.
Yeah.
That you actually
Did it for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now they know.
Now they know.
Now they
If you
know.
want to Sharpie your KRKs,
Rockets.
your rockets, don't worry about it.
Don't be
worry
turned
about
off by the yellow.
it. Yeah.
You can make it black.
Blue.
Right. Yeah. I think they did start releasing them as with a black or a gray cone. I think
Smart
Yeah.
move.
As well, not just because the yellow is their iconic look,
That's
but I just
right.
black and yellow to me is just gross.
It's very
Even on, like-
Pittsburgh.
yeah, it is very Pittsburgh. Yeah. even on like the Dodge or the B one or whatever, it's like a Hemi. It's got the B on the side. Like, no, thanks.
Not your style.
Not my style.
Either,
Yeah. Same with black
Love
and
'em or
red.
hate 'em.
Same with black and red. Not a big fan of black and red either.
Ooh, I like black and red.
You like black and red?
It's a good mix.
Yeah.
It's intimidating.
It's intimidating.
Black and red?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always all about intimidation.
Yeah. I know.
Surprised I didn't wear my black and red right
I'm,
now.
I'm very
Just-
intimidated right now.
Are you?
Yeah, no.
Is this red? This is red.
This is maroon. This is
Maroon, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, something you should know about me, I'm pretty colorblind, so it's a shade of red, man.
Right.
Close enough.
Yeah. Hence the Grayson.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Nice. Hey.
Hey.
Hence
good
why I'm
shit.
wearing all gray right now.
Yeah.
actually.
Right.
It works out.
Yeah. You don't have to second guess anything. You
Yeah,
Just put on. Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
No different shades.
Yeah.
No maroon and pink or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a big thing with aesthetics.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a big thing.
I honestly feel like having the black and yellow monitors, I would be less excited to make music.
For sure.
You know?
It's not pumped.
Yeah, I'm not pumped.
No.
I'm like, oh,
Easy going.
Dude,
yeah.
aesthetics are huge, man.
is, yeah.
Like at the studio I used to work at, there was a couple different studios.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was super nice. I mean, they have good equipment in multiple of them, but one of them was like that was the studio I was trying to get in.
Yeah.
They didn't have any lighting in that one. It was just like the fluorescent or a
Oh.
lamp.
Oh yeah.
And the one upstairs
Needed a lava lamp.
had it needed a lava lamp. I don't know, it had one. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah.
Someone stole the aesthetic from the room, man. So that one was the studio. I'm always like to people I was like we got to record in this one.
Yeah.
It's the one. But the one upstairs had its own like Philips light, like the strips,
Hue.
you know, and you can like
Hue.
get the app and you
Yeah,
can change it and
yeah.
it could flash or whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
People would want to book that studio just because
Just
of the
for the
lighting.
light.
Just
Right.
for the lighting.
Right.
Went from A to C real fast.
Yeah,
Dude.
exactly. Like the
Yeah.
quality went down, but
Yep.
they were paying less money for this like good aesthetic, pretty
Right.
much,
Right.
for less advanced gear.
It's all about the vibe.
It's all about the vibe,
You know what I
man.
mean? Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
I'm vibing right now with
I'm
this
vibing
aesthetic.
super-
If we were in your basement, man, I'd probably be all bummed out and shit. I'm like, damn it.
Hating life.
Yeah, yeah. But this is pretty sweet.
Yeah. This is so yeah. Like I was saying, and
we're all squared. Sorry to interrupt
Yeah,
you. We're all squared away too. It looks like we're in Tron or something.
This is Tron land.
Yeah, it is, man. Like this is Tron, and I'm looking in the camera right now.
We got the disco ball up there too.
Yeah.
And so that's what Nexy said on episode 2. He's like, dude, like you got to turn the cameras around. And I was like, fuck, you're right. You know, and I'd kind of been thinking about that anyway, because we did it over in that corner, and it looked fine. You know, it had some of the LED wall, but this is.
Well, that's why I waited. I know you wanted, like, you've been asking me for so long to be on this podcast. I'm like, no, dude, I'm gonna wait until you perfect it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I waited to the third one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too, yeah.
I must have disco balls.
I must have the disco balls.
Right. You know what though?
I need the Tron land.
But for video wise, this is exceptional lighting.
It
It's
is
very even. It's like an overcast day. There's no shadows. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, I mean, you know, except for maybe down there, but
it's exceptional.
it's exceptional.
Definitely.
Yeah. So if you ever want to look good, like, it's like the same thing with like the rings, the selfie rings that chicks get or whatever they have for video. You know?
Oh,
what I mean?
right, yeah.
The lighting that's the box
The selfie
lighting.
rings
Yeah.
with like the dog ears and the
Yeah,
nose.
right, yeah.
They all come together.
That's next.
This is the ultimate selfie spot.
Right, yeah.
Remind me before I leave. I got to get a selfie for sure.
Oh, we do though for social.
Do we?
We do because
Okay, dope.
I forgot last
Good.
time. Yeah. So we'll get a selfie.
Great.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Without the dog noses.
Damn it.
We can do it.
It's okay. We don't need it in
take
this
both.
room. That's the
both,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the album's coming out.
Yep.
Just to bring this full circle.
Yep.
Soon. We got Soldoc here, and super excited to release it. We're gonna be doing some shows. We're already working on a second album. I guess that's usually how it goes. Yeah, you release your first, and there's
It
not
sits
really
around
a
for
break.
a while.
Yeah, exactly. It sits around for a while, and I went on this trip to Asia for 5 months, which was amazing. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
But that kind of put like a big break in just music creation.
Probably much needed though.
It was much needed, but I loved that trip. The hardest part was not making music. I did record some music there, which is fucking sweet.
Wow.
That was like probably the coolest thing I've ever done.
Do you get any field samples or anything?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to incorporate those.
Yeah.
But yeah, we recorded some indigenous tribes and did some cool shit. But that was one thing in that trip that was hard for me, was not creating any music. But I think what happened with that is like I really hit the brakes kind of.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't hit the brakes. I just like took my foot off the gas. But yeah, it was kind of cruise control. It was always on my mind. You know, I didn't need to hit the brakes. It was just because other things in life, you know, you need inspiration and stuff. But when I got back, the inspiration was on like full throttle. So I personally think, and I guess this is what. No, sometimes people go in slumps. Yeah, I made up for lost time. Sometimes I guess people do hit slumps, but I personally think I like found my sound. I'm really happy with the music I'm coming out with now.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the best feeling as a producer, being like, there's no like insecurities about the music you're showing people, and you're really happy. You're like, yeah, this is what I just made.
Right.
It's not like, oh, it's not fully mixed, or you're not making excuses, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm just waiting to get these plugins to help it, or whatever. Like, I'm happy. Like, here it is.
Yeah.
This is what
That's
it is.
the best feeling.
It's a really good
the
feeling.
best feeling,
and you
yeah.
can't always get it. And I feel like I'm kind of like in that zone right now,
Yes. Yeah.
which goes with like the new genre finding of like hip hop, electro world
Yeah.
music.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Kind of like, to name drop, kind of like Odessa style.
It is very. Yeah.
It, like, started more like Thievery Corporation, where it's more organic, and then that's where the electro comes in.
Yeah.
Because that has like the hip hop in world, and then the Odessa he took it electro, and I was like, I don't know, I guess subconsciously that kind of hit my head, and I was like, yeah, that's where I want to go with it.
Right. It definitely has that sound though.
It's-
kind of bonobo-y. You know, a little bit Odessa-y.
Right,
Yeah.
with that electro.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, like and I love Thievery Corporation, but when you do so much like organic beats, for me, I kind of feel like I plateau at a certain point. I don't, like when I'm showing people, it's kind of more of the same for me, and I want it to change.
Right.
Like I want to be like, yeah, this is like the new stuff.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's not like, oh, did you make this 2 years ago, or did you just make this yesterday?
Right.
Like I want it to be like, oh, dude, this is new.
Current.
You just made this.
Yes. Yeah.
So
it definitely has that sound. And,
Yeah.
You know, and saying like, I mean, you have to like give some sort of reference for people, and saying it is Odessa-y is kind of almost doing it disservice, because it kind of has its own sound. It's
Right.
which I think is brilliant when you can, as an artist, you can have a direction that you're going and kind of, okay, this is the lane I want to fit in,
Yeah.
but not copying. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's essential.
Long time, yeah.
It takes a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially as a musician, like, it takes a lot of maturity and growth as a musician to,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, even with songwriting, I thought I was just writing trash in circles for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Until you finally, like, something clicks. You're like, oh,
Right.
Yeah, it's like a new inspiration or something. Yeah.
Why don't you here take this? Take this.
clarity.
There we go. Let's take this mic off, and then you can just pass it back and forth, because
Just for the
There you go.
audio effects?
yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, smoothie Tony tone.
Good shit.
Yeah, but for lyrics, it's the same for lyrics as making beats, I guess. And probably everything, painting, drawing, any creative process.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
ever changing.
Yeah,
Just like I don't know much about this, kind of out of my league, but like Picasso, he changed styles as he went,
Yeah, right.
Or like
You're
other
basically
artists,
Picasso.
I'm pretty much Picasso of music, man. I'm just weird, not because I'm trying to be weird.
yeah, right.
It's just happening.
Just naturally weird.
Yeah.
Organically. Yeah.
Oh, I had a good point to make. You were talking about not trying to copy somebody,
Yes.
or like Odessa.
Yeah.
I want to point out my inspirations. One, but two, I can't remember where I heard this, but it was, don't try to emulate the person that you really like. Try to emulate the person that they really like.
Their influences.
Their influences.
Yes.
That's the true-
Not necessarily
the true
emulate,
north,
but
kind of?
yeah, kind of, because that they made their own sound based on that. So you don't have to try to emulate it, but maybe just listen to it and see.
Yeah.
You can probably see the connection, and I don't know. You don't want to be that person that you're trying to emulate, but you like their music.
Right.
So just
Right.
try to find your own path, but
Yeah.
just seeing their path might help you find your own.
Absolutely. I think it's
Yeah.
a great tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to interrupt, can you actually scoot just a little bit
Yeah, for
closer?
sure.
This way? I'm just thinking about camera angles and stuff. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to be here. Otherwise, I would have got you a mic. And
Shut up and blow it up.
Yeah.
it's good though. I like it. So yeah, that's all. What's the release date? What are you guys looking at?
we
Just before the end of the year is pretty much our goal. It's been ready for a year now.
Okay, yeah, which is pretty typical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess that's how it goes. It's definitely how it's been going with us. But I think we want to do it aligned as like a new moon thing as well,
Yeah,
just with the moon calendar. I think we talked about that at one point.
Yeah.
Things changed, so maybe not, but he didn't seem so excited. Yeah. He was like, yeah,
that's kind
okay.
of a.
Actually, I've been thinking about that.
We were thinking new moon, not the full moon.
Yeah,
We're going-
exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, in terms of, I just want to say inspirations. No one probably knows my music. I'm not that big yet. Yet.
Yet.
I go by Grayson Goerss, and I've Scott and I, we actually met at a studio, and we haven't collabed yet. We're going to soon, but I put my music out on SoundCloud. Soldoc and I have this album coming out, and I've been expanding to blogs and stuff as well. So I'm kind of like just blooming, I guess. I'm in that stage, or trying to.
Yeah. We have kind of a cohesive sound, so I'm actually looking forward to kind of all collabing.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, right.
for sure, and we can do it here.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's actually an interesting topic too. Is collabing. It can be difficult, and like what used to throw me off or make things difficult for me was a lot of my process is just sitting and tinkering, and like that's not great for sitting in a studio with someone and like creating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you either have to kind of figure out how to put the pedal to the metal and churn stuff out,
Right.
or which definitely works. I've gotten better at it. You know what I mean? I've gotten better at just being able to crank stuff out.
Yeah.
But another good way is like just sending files back and forth. Do the postal service type thing. Where you just like here's almost like a remix kind of thing where you're like here's like 8 stems. Just do with it whatever you want to do with it. You know, and then maybe give it back to me and I'll make some more changes and then we'll take it from there. You know what I mean?
It's good for the process. Like, I think it's good to change your process sometimes.
Yeah.
To learn about what your process was.
Right.
Because we get in our own ways. I definitely do that as well. and where I want to like do everything my way, and and you just letting you know you have to, when we're collabing, like cut me off, man. If I'm like, no, it's got to be like this. Like, I definitely need that for sure. Like somebody else to be like, okay, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Like you chill out.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that. I'm just like we all have our own process.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It definitely takes you out of your comfort zone, which is great.
Yeah.
You should always get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that because
absolutely.
It's really easy to just get in your own space and do everything your way.
Yep.
And that also that way you could see kind of like not my flaws, but ways that I can improve, and maybe I could do the same for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I really believe that nothing great comes from comfort. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you just got to keep stirring up the pot. You know what
Definitely.
You gotta
And-
be outside of your
Yeah.
element.
Yeah.
And I almost mean
Yeah.
it in like a very literal sense. So I tell people a lot that like when I make music, I get really stoned sometimes.
Yeah.
And actually a lot. And like
Yeah.
and I do it not
Actually,
because
really stoned.
no,
Oh man, let me tell you.
but I do it because something happens when I get like uncomfortably high, you
Yeah.
know, and I use it as like a tool. You start, but
We're gonna have some weird collabing going on. We're gonna be hella uncomfortable.
it'll be a great studio.
So your
session.
turn, man. Yeah. Hella quiet.
Yeah, right. It's all awkward and shit. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
All right, just bring a Sharpie also.
Yeah.
Completely out of the cover.
But you know what I mean? You like, especially when if I'm just sober or whatever, I'll just be trolling, Instagram or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, as soon as I get high, I'm just like, I don't want to see any of that. I don't want, you know what I mean? I'm
Right.
like, I just want to get
Be in
into
your
super
space.
creative mode and dive into whatever it is, a synthesizer I'm playing with their
Right.
sample. Yeah.
That's where you want to be at.
Right. Yeah. And I think there's a reason why so many, musicians smoke,
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it opens up a creative door.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That was like when I started, not in 5th grade, but a little bit later. I was like, that was a
Getting
big
high
part
in
of it
fifth
for
grade.
me. Yeah.
That's why you're weird. Let's be honest. Yeah.
There's the weirdness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't fully
I
developed.
cut off in
yet.
high school because
Yeah.
elementary school was a tough time for me. All right, it was You should. That's why those beats were really weird.
Yeah, right.
Let me tell you.
Everything you could say.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, and the other part I was going to say about that is gear. Like,
Yeah.
as you get the gear, it changes your process.
It
also.
does. It does. Yeah.
So if I'm like, because you have a cool studio at the house, and
Mm-hmm.
you've got a bunch of gear also used for like, you have outboard gear used for the production, not the mixing.
yes.
And I feel like that would change my process a bunch, and that changes the sound.
100%.
And that's part of the reason I think I've gone with the sound that I've gone, because Splice has enabled me to have all of these like world samples. And I remember listening to episode 2 where what's his name again?
Nexi.
Nexi.
Andreas, yeah.
He was talking about how he makes all of his own sounds, like even drums.
Yeah.
Which is, I respect the shit out of that.
Right.
That's super cool. Yeah. That's not really my process.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to go in that direction, but I'm just because I was brought up on sampling, I'm more about taking samples and manipulating them.
Yeah.
Sound like
Flipping 'em.
drums, flipping them pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Drums, adding like some crazy distortion and reverb and
Layering.
a lot of delay, layering and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Always, I never use one snare.
Right.
I'm always layering.
Yeah.
The time is a little bit off or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that it would be cool to have some outboard gear where I'm actually making those sounds.
Yeah.
That'll create my sound. Or not create, but it'll just change it.
Absolutely.
Oh, and that's why I think Splice has changed the way that I'm creating now, because I have access to all of those samples, like world flutes and bagpipes and shit.
Right.
And like stuff that I don't have, and I don't have access to that.
Right.
So I think there's beauty in both,
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
You want to be able to know how to do both well, ideally.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I think I'm more on the sample side. It'd be cool to start creating more.
yes.
Because
Scratch sample of a polar bear scratching.
the ice
The ice
or something.
in the sample.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did you run
And
into any-
travel, and that comes with travel.
Did you run into polar bears?
Or I can just hit up a zoo. I was in Asia, so there's not a lot of those
No,
there.
yeah,
but
yeah.
Tell me samples.
Did you get the tigre?
More pandas and stuff, right?
Yeah, some elephant stomping, some,
It's a wicked kick drum, man.
yeah, exactly.
Dude, that would be a sick fucking kick drum.
Yeah, some elephant stomping.
Yeah, yeah.
just like under 20 hertz.
goals.
Just we can't hear, but
Goals.
we're just feeling it.
Right, 20 miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some elephants' ears are perking up at the zoo. They're like, wait, what is this? Yeah.
It's like a dog whistle, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Talking to the dolphins, you know. This is music for all of the animals.
Sorry, it was
Right.
giraffes.
It was this is what we got.
That's why I try to carry this thing, around with me pretty much everywhere.
That's a little sound recorder?
Yeah. Yeah, and of course you can do it
Nice.
with your phone.
Or the Zoom.
The Zoom is good
Or
too.
Tascam.
The Tascam. That one's a little bit bigger, so I mean, I gotta have like a bag or something, or a wicked fanny pack, you know. But
Dude, those are in.
they're in. Yeah.
Those are hip. I'm pretty sure
They're
those
hip.
are hip.
Yeah, especially in Asia.
Yeah, yeah.
You won't
Yeah.
look like an American weirdo with a fanny pack.
No,
Not at
wrap
all.
the fanny pack and you blend right in.
You like- But this thing, I like it because it's in my pocket, which it takes up extra space, you know, as guys, like our pockets are our purses, you know, and so we have limited
that's all we
space,
got.
you know, yeah.
And ever since like my graduation from the super baggy pants, I don't have
Yeah.
as much
Started
pocket
losing-
space.
yeah, with the skinny
I used to
jeans.
have like from the belt line to the knee of space, man. I had like a purse on each side. It
Two
was
duffel
great.
bags. Just,
Yeah, exactly. I had a whole bunch of shit. in
Smuggling
there.
in children, you know, like that.
Yeah.
But it takes up space, so it forces me to like, oh, I have this thing, I need to like use it, you know, and go around
Right.
and fucking.
I'm not carrying this thing up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do enough of that in my travels. I wish I did more of that, just recording random sounds.
Right.
Because when I did it, the recordings I have, I'm like, dude, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna like, even if it's just the atmosphere, like starting the song off or something, that puts you in the space like
Right.
that. It's like that soundscape.
Yes.
That's all you need. It starts it off.
Yeah, just to kind of put you in that space.
Atmosphere.
Someone was telling me that my beats were. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn here, but
Yeah.
someone was telling me that my beats are kind of like, toot toot. They're kind of like cinematic, like a score in a way, just
Yeah.
like in terms of. Because I don't really, before we collabed, I didn't have that much vocals ever, so I was always filling that in with synths or samples.
Yeah.
So they're kind of just like I'm always setting a scene with like a street or like rain or like some birds chirping or something like that. And I guess part of that is just like to create. It's like what we've been saying, to create the scene and like you put those headphones on, that song starts, and then you're like, close your eyes. I just made a beat that I was imagining that I was in like Cuba and it was
Right.
raining at nighttime and there's some street musicians playing the guitar. That was like the intro to the song.
Nice.
And I like, hopefully it does it for the listener, but for me, I just think those soundscapes are like super crucial to get that,
Oh yeah.
to build the setting.
Well, especially in the box too. It's like you
Yeah.
know, everything can be is just by default very sterile.
Sterile, yeah.
Sterile,
that's a
yeah.
good word.
So you got to add like those real recordings. Just add so much, you know.
Yeah, there's no more. It's not so
You're-
sterile anymore.
there's-
It's
So
That's more doubt.
and definitely more depth.
I always relate it to this.
definitely.
So once I started getting into photography and videography, I realized like lighting is everything, right?
Yeah.
Light. I mean, without it, your photos look shit. You know.
You have no photo.
You have no photo. Yeah.
There's nothing to shoot.
But when you're shooting, and like let's say you're on like some mountain ridge or you're some whatever, and you're looking at like a horizon, and you know as the land travels and you can see like hills and stuff, and
Yeah.
maybe there's multiple mountains, and they get like lighter in color as they go, and you're
Yeah.
able to start seeing the air. You're able to start seeing the atmosphere. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And the same thing can
sure.
be said for recording. Like
Yeah.
you might have something that's just like some flies, or like some distant
a
birds,
pencil tapping,
whatever.
or just
But adding those little
Probably I
bits
skipped
of air,
the flies, but I like the birds.
flies not so interesting.
yeah,
What is this shit?
yeah. What is these flies? These flies shit.
But yeah, injecting that the recording of just the air and the atmosphere is very real.
Yeah, and I guess that's just like inherent in the recording because
Yeah.
you're not like a bird. You're not recording. You're like, okay, chirp on 3. Like you're not getting him. He's like in a tree or she.
Yeah.
They are in
Very
a tree
progressive of you.
somewhere.
Don't trip with those birds.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
And
They.
that creates that depth.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it's interesting. You'll show I show my roommates, and none of them have background in like my beats. And none of them have like music background or
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
But like one of them really likes music, goes to a lot of like raves and shows. The other two listen to music, but it's not like a huge deal. Like they'd rather listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
But point being is somebody that even it's not a big thing for them. You know, we have like grown up on this planet and we have learned like how everything works.
Yeah.
And like just like anything, like touch, sight, like hearing, you subconsciously hear things. So like that sounds hella electronic, which is fine. But if
Static,
you're not going for that, it sounds weird.
Right.
And then if you do that, the filter freak, you know, and you got that like the up and down of the hi-hat, it is more natural for people. And people that don't even have a trained ear will recognize it.
It's weird.
They don't even know they're recognizing it.
It's weird that you have to manufacture the normal. You have to manufacture the organic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, unless you want to go into a studio, like set up 10 microphones, which I've done, and I use those samples to this day, like 10 years ago.
All the time.
But unless you want to do that, like set up all those mics and record a drum set, that's kind of what you have to do.
Right.
It's a lot easier, but it's all of those.
It's more setup.
It's a lot more setup.
Yeah. That's the goal one day. I just want to have a studio with a room. Oh, that's fine. Instagram just
sorry, Instagram.
Yeah, turns into a potato at 1 hour. Maybe they'll change that.
Into a pumpkin.
But we're still going up there, so we're all good.
Oh.
And to be completely honest, the audio is the most important part.
Right.
So yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. But how are we doing on time? Because I don't want to make you late for your thing.
I have to. My thing.
Yeah.
Making me seem so busy. Oh shit! Yeah, I gotta.
Damn, are you on world time?
Yeah.
Look at you.
I know, man.
So worldly.
Dude. I don't know why I do it because I've been doing this for like 5 months and I still confuse myself. I'm like, so it's 16. All right, so it's 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Cool. I was thinking it would just be more natural. I'm like, it's 16 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
But I still do the calculation. Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
My experiment has failed.
Yeah.
I have failed.
Oh, that's
But
great.
yeah, so since it's 16 o'clock, I gotta
head out.
roll.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Dude,
Well,
this has been hella fun. I hope to do this more.
Dude, we're
sure.
gonna have you back on for sure.
Yeah, we get
repeat
the
guest. Yeah.
Fiji waters.
Yes.
With the lighting and everything.
Just balling out of control
Probably
with Fiji water.
with the Fiji waters.
Balls, perhaps?
Yeah. A couple more for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll probably have collabs at that point, and then we can talk about our like weird experience.
Yes, exactly.
However it went.
Yeah.
And then maybe show people our strange creation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
So people will be able to find the album on iTunes or what?
Yeah, it's gonna release on all platforms: Spotify, iTunes,
Nice.
Tidal,
I registered with CD Baby.
SoundCloud,
Nice. They're a good one.
They throw it on like 25.
all of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Good shit.
And it should be
do it on
2018.
my website, too. Try to get as much shopping there.
Oh, shout out! What's the website?
soldocmusic.com, SOLDOC music.com.
Nice.
And I'm just on SoundCloud.
Yeah. Grayson Goerss.
Yeah, SoundCloud.com/Grayson
You want
Goerss.
to spell that for people because there's two Grays.
Grayson with an A.
Yeah.
Grayson. And last name is Goerss.
Nice.
Goerss.
Yeah.
So Grayson Goerss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check me out.
Yeah.
SoundCloud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll let you get out of here. I wanted to thank Gina and everyone at Halcyon for letting us host here.
Thank you, Gina.
One of San Francisco's best electronic music nightclubs in general. And you can find the VEM podcast, Voice of Electronic Music, on let's see, let me rattle this off: Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud,
Twitch?
Instagram, Twitch. Yeah, all the platforms. So we're
All of the things.
Yeah. Some of them are better than others. I feel I need to make the Twitch stream a little bit better. It's just going through my iPad and sound could be better, but
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'll have my camera linked up to it, and it'll all be good. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been
So-
great, though. Solid, smooth. Thanks so much for having me on the
Yeah, man.
show.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've always wanted to say that. Mwah. Thanks to everyone for listening.
Just relishing in the moment. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just soak it all in.
Yeah.
And just like that, it's gone. Good shit, man. Cool.
Cool.
All right. Well, we'll see you for episode number 4. So tune in next time. See
Peace.
you guys. Bye.